Hello, dear friends. It's been a while since I posted an update on my channel, and here I am to talk with you about what's going on in my life. So, today is the 21st of October, and it means that I started my ADF alternate day fasting routine on September 1st, and it's almost 7 weeks already. 7 weeks I'm into this routine, and I started it when I was 171, and right now I'm at 156, and that means 15 pounds lighter. 15 pounds lighter, and I'm getting into my favorite jeans, though of me when I was a little bit larger. So I still have 26 pounds to go to my goal number one weight, because ideally I would like to get to 120, but then I will look when I get to 130. I will look how that will reflect on my face, because again I realize that I am now a little bit older, and that might be showing that might show on my face with more wrinkles, with more, I don't know, unless I really grow new stem cells or growth hormone, because maybe I'll go into another 3-day water fast, since I went at the end of September. I went on 3-day water fast, and I felt really very, very good. But right now, what am I telling you? I'm telling you that I am minus 15 pounds for the months of September and 2/3 of October. I wanted ideally to see more numbers. I wanted to see digit 4, like 148 maybe on the scale, but the scale so far is showing 156, and it's kind of stagnating. But again, I was on the business trip at the end, or at the beginning, in the beginning of October, from October 2nd to October 6th, I was on a business trip, and I allowed myself to eat every day. And I was skipping breakfast, but I was having late lunch and dinner, very light dinner. And that was kind of deviation from the ADF. And then when I came home, I started my ADF again, and I didn't deviate ever. And when I came home, I didn't gain any weight, because I left my house, I was at 159. I came home, I was 157. I kind of lost 2 more pounds, and I am 157 all that week, and only today I was 156. Well, I heard about that, when you kind of plateau your weight, and maybe you will need a little more of a kick to extend your fast. Meanwhile, what I'm learning about all this fasting, I've been studying, reading a lot, listening to the opinions of the people, of the highly regarded people in the medical society. Again, the general practice, the practitioners who we go and see on daily basis, they know little to nothing about this fasting routine, and they heard something about intermittent fasting, but fasting for health, they didn't hear anything about it. What I'm learning right now, that autophagy is very, very important when we are, first of all, when we don't eat for 12 hours, then we letting our intestinal tract, we're giving them a vacation, so to speak. And when we are and our digestive system also rests. It's not constantly working, because while we are in the fed situation, in the fed state, our stomach is always working. I used to, I probably figured out what was wrong with me. I was eating nuts almost constantly, my almonds. I was snacking on my fruits, because I constantly was eating either apples or berries or something. So it was non-stop eating. And when I was working, I was having my cheese, I had my salamis, and just snack here, snack there. Though I didn't eat late at night, but now thinking back, I really see my eating habits, that I was constantly eating something. I was constantly chewing something. And those nuts, I discovered this source of organic almonds, because I live in California and we grow nuts over here. You can easily find the freshest, the most wonderful nuts. But nuts you have to consume in moderation. But when you have them as your snack, then meal, and then you have your meal, and it's really going to get to you. And all my pounds, they started to compound and compounded weight became an embarrassment for me. So fasting, what does it do to our bodies? 12 hours is very good. This is our stomach, it's getting some rest, and our intestines also getting some rest. The 17-hour fast, if you do 17-5 intermittent fasting, then on the 18th hour, our organism actually realizing that probably our head is not going to feed us, we better start looking for something within. And that where the autophagy, self-sustainment, kicks in, saying that, hey, we don't know when the next food intake going to come from outside. Let's look for something to eat inside. And on the cellular level, we start some rejuvenation, some rebirth. And the longer we are staying in the fasted state, the better is for our body. The better is for our body. If the autophagy continues, then we go in after the 24 hours, we go into ketosis. And if we do this 36-12 intermittent fasting, because the alternative day fasting is nothing else like severe case of intermittent fasting, because you fast for 36 hours and you eat for 12 hours, and then your body actually goes into the autophagy, ketosis, and some rejuvenation. When I went through this 3-day water fast, that was even more exciting, because what happens on the 48th and the 50th hour is the stem cells, they start to grow. The growth hormone that actually body starts to reverse aging, and the resources that we have within us, that the body is such an interesting organism. I mean, we are created to stay healthy, to repair all the damage that's being done with the aging, with the environment damages, with the nutrition damages, or malnutrition, I'd rather say. So all of that could be repaired. It's like, when the body, it has great set of tools within itself to rejuvenate itself, to repair the damage, and to bring our inner resources to help us survive. And the 3-day water fast is very doable, is possible to do. I don't know, I probably will attempt to do 5-day fast at the end of this year. I'll see how I feel. And if I need a little bit more of weight to be gone, I may attempt the 3-day fast a little bit sooner than the end of the year. So anyway, why all this fasting is good for us? How do those scientists, they claim their case? They just really kind of stand by the studies. And you know that 2 years ago, one of the Japanese scientists, he won the Nobel Prize in biomedicine for the discovery of the autophagy. Autophagy is when the body is healing, the inner body resource to heal itself. So what is this? When we are talking about all these miraculous self-healing, self-rejuvenation, finding all these resources within us, what are we having in mind? And all those scientists, they saying that, you know what, we are, paleontologically speaking, very old species. We are like million and million of years, and our ancestors, they were hunters and gatherers, and they didn't have supermarkets, they didn't have refrigerators. It means if they wanted to eat, they needed to kill an animal, they needed to gather some plants, and there is never guarantee that it's going to be, that animal is going to happen to be there, that they're going to be successful in hunt, that they're going to be harvest that year, that they will be able to gather something. So anyway, they never knew whether they're going to eat or not. And that's why the body was initially created to withstand this abundance famine cycle. Today we eat, and then tomorrow we don't know when we are going to eat again. So it's abundance, famine. It means that when you eat, you most likely you eat once a day, and then you go a few days without eating, and your body was sustaining that. And besides, your body was thriving on that system, because no obese people were walking around most likely back then. And then 200 years ago, we became an industrial society. An industrial society learned how to work with the land, and how to have crops, and how to do food, and it's going to be no more scarcity in the industrial countries. So we kind of learned to eat every day. And then, of course, in the 20th century, that's where the food industry really went above and beyond. And all those scientists, they developed genetically modified agricultural products, and we have multiple harvests for our wheat and for our rye, and that's why all those grains are genetically modified, and we don't know what we're eating right now. And if you go to the store, we have all those preserved products. They're all highly processed, they all contain sugar, the preservative. And technically what we are feeding ourselves with, first of all, is highly addictive. Second of all, we forgot how the natural taste, what is the natural taste, because the whatever the additives, all those preservatives and additives, whatever they add right now to the food, is highly addictive. And that's why the only goal for the industry is to try to make you buy more and more, and that's why you go see those aisles and aisles of chips, of snacks, of goldie fishes, or cereals, of everything. And it says cereal is healthy for you, but it's made out of the genetically modified grain that you don't know even what you're putting in your mouth, and all you know, next thing you know, that you are hungry, you never feel to your satiety, and then you keep eating, and then you keep growing, and actually 2/3 of our society, they're either fat or obese. 2/3 of our society. So I thought, every one of us thinks that we are not that statistics. We are an exception out of that rule. But I told you, I just went to a doctor and endocrinologist, and she pronounced me obese. So according to all those numbers, I am obese. So on one end, the industry and society feeds us, and on the other hand, they develop such measurements and metrics where you're going to feel bad because the the formal medicine, they pronounce you obese, and they offer you a pharmaceutical solution to that. And as soon as you get to any pharmaceutical solution, then technically you're hooked for life, and you're going to be dependent on that drug. And I don't want to have either. I cook from scratch. I live close to the farm. I shop organic when possible. I also prefer to eat wild caught fish, and this is my lifestyle. In spite of all of this, I gained all that weight, and again, I had my head, maybe some mild depression, maybe something. What I want you to be aware of, that I diverted. So the fasting is not going to kill any of you. Fasting, our bodies are designed to fast, to withstand the absence of food, because our inner resources, it has perfect tool set to handle all that scarcity. But even when the body is not getting food from outside, it starts working, saying, hey, we need to preserve life in you. You are our body. We are not going to die. And that's why we are going to help you. You need to be healthy. And we are going to grow those stem cells. And we are going to send those stem cells, that growth hormone, into the parts of your body that require repairs. Like if you have joint pain, it goes into repair of that joint. If you have some inflammation somewhere, it goes to address that. When you're buying that shot of the stem cell, it's extremely expensive, and besides, it's foreign to your body. And while those stem cells find their destination, they're going to die in your body, and only 0.1% might reach a destination and heal something, the intended ailment that you were hoping to heal with that shot. Easier to grow your own stem cells and growth hormone, and to fix everything within. What am I going to tell you? I wasn't diagnosed with plantar fasciitis. I had sharp pain in both of my feet, and it lasted already for a good year or so. And my podiatrist said, you need to wear special shoes, you should do that, and maybe we can try to do some injections, and but there is no help. And you know what? Ever since I started doing this ADF, I have relief in my feet. I feel much better. I can walk more. I was always walking in spite of the pain. So walking, jogging, running, walking on the beach, and by the end of the day, my feet were really hurting. Now I don't have the pain as severe as I used to feel. And I believe that this is all due to the ADF and that 3-day water fast that I underwent at the end of September. So anyway, our bodies are designed to go through those fasts because we are the parts of our ancestors, and our ancestors used to live in that mode when we were feasting or fasting. And that's why it's nothing dangerous when you are starving, when you have that hunger urge on your fast day. Just have a pinch of salt in your water. I use my Himalayan salt, and I have large crystals, and I lick it and I drink my water, lick and drink my water, and it really helps. But the next morning when you wake up, you're so light and you're so full of this good spirit and great expectations, and you're so enthusiastic about everything that I don't know. I hope that you all experience that. If you are still trying to decide whether fasting is good for you or not, try to do it gradually. So first try the intermittent fasting, like you skip your breakfast, you move your lunch later in the day, and then you eat your very light dinner before 6 o'clock at night, and then you are done. Try to do that few times, and then try to skip breakfast, lunch, and have only dinner few times a week. And then when you are ready, you can skip dinner also, and that will be your first day of 24 hours without eating. And if you skip it, you go to bed, the next morning you wake up, that's your first 36 hours. And that, my friends, you definitely can do. And on this cheerful note, I'm going to say goodbye to you, and I will see you very, very soon.